What if the secret to conquering life's toughest battles isn't raw grit or endless hustle, but a razor-sharp mind that sees moves others miss? Imagine turning chaos into calculated triumphs, where every decision propels you forward like a master chess player in the game of existence. In this audiobook, The Mastery of Tactical Insight, outmaneuver obstacles and claim your epic victories. You'll uncover the elite tactics that empower visionaries to predict shifts, seize hidden edges, and forge unbreakable paths to fulfillment. Dive in now and discover how to transform uncertainty into your ultimate weapon. Because once you master this, no challenge stands a chance. Unlock the hidden superpower that turns ordinary reactions into extraordinary outcomes. Picture this. When adversity strikes, do you scramble in the moment, or do you orchestrate a response that outflanks it entirely? In our hyper-connected era, where distractions bombard you and demands pull you in every direction, the real edge comes from one deliberate act: halting to query, what's the most potent play I can make here? That intentional breath, that flash of calculated insight, is where true dominance ignites. It's the spark that elevates the average to the exceptional, shifting from impulsive leaps to masterful maneuvers. This is the core of tactical insight, your unparalleled advantage in navigating life's complexities. Too many coast through days on autopilot, waking to endless notifications, firing off replies, juggling tasks, barely pausing to regroup. When hurdles emerge, they lash out with raw emotion. Anxiety, irritation, dread fueling hasty choices. But tactical masters operate differently. They halt, survey, strategize. They don't fixate on the immediate storm. They envision the horizon beyond, pondering. What's the enduring strategy? How does this weave into my grand vision? What cascading effects will this unleash? This perspective is why some glide through turmoil with serene poise, adapting seamlessly to forge breakthroughs, while others remain entangled in perpetual crises. Tactical insight isn't reserved for battlefield commanders, corporate titans, or geopolitical geniuses. It's for you, here and now, regardless of your role or aspirations. All it demands is honing this innate tool. The pivotal instant that redefines trajectories. Many falter not from lack of intellect or drive, but from surrendering to knee-jerk impulses. Tactical insight empowers you to reclaim command, whether resolving a heated dispute, pivoting careers, or steering through fiscal storms. It's profoundly intimate, aiding in mending bonds strained by miscommunication, charting professional leaps amid uncertainty, or nurturing family dynamics with foresight. It equips you like a personal navigator. Define your endpoint, evaluate your position, chart viable courses, sidestep pitfalls, and advance with unwavering assurance. Why tactical insight reigns supreme in today's whirlwind? We thrive in an overload of data and relentless pulls. Yet this skill teaches you to decelerate internally amid external frenzy. Much like a seasoned pilot steadying through turbulence, it sharpens choices swiftly, eases tension by curbing impulsive flares, sharpens focus on what truly counts, grants advantages in careers, connections, and daily hurdles, and instills assurance through perceptive depth. Contrast two facing sudden job loss. One spirals into frenzy, blasting applications and snatching the first offer, only to languish in dissatisfaction. Why? Pure reaction. The other absorbs the jolt, then strategizes, audits finances, aligns with long-term ambitions, consults networks, targets roles matching core values. Soon, they secure a fulfilling position that ignites growth. Identical setback, divergent paths, all due to tactical prowess, tactical insight and triumph, inseparable allies. Examine trailblazers across arenas, innovators, champions, creators, influencers. They harness this to foresee risks, adapt fluidly, and amplify impact. They don't merely endure, they orchestrate, knowing when to advance, retreat, or redefine the arena. It's not rigid blueprints, but adaptive frameworks, refining amid flux. This audiobook equips you not just to scheme superiorly, but to perceive profoundly, to command your narrative rather than endure it. Roadmap ahead, a glimpse of the Odyssey. We'll dissect it methodically. In our first segment, we lay the groundwork for a tactical outlook, shifting from emotional surges to visionary foresight. Segment 2 delves into precision, crafting crystal-clear objectives and backtracking to blueprint achievement. Segment 3 arms you with intel, sourcing vital data without drowning in over-analysis. Segment 4 expands vision, grasping overarching dynamics, unearthing links, and decoding intricacies. Segment 5 hones foresight, projecting futures while mastering the present. Segment 6 times it perfectly, discerning when to surge and when to hold. Segment 7 amplifies leverage, maximizing returns with minimal exertion through astute resource play. Segment 8 fosters nimbleness, flexing amid shifts without derailing. Segment 9 navigates minds, leveraging psychology to sway ethically and potently. Segment 10 culminates in delivery, converting blueprints into tangible triumphs. Each phase brims with anecdotes, actionable instruments, and perceptual pivots to empower sharper cognition, decisive leadership, and adept problem-solving. By journey's end, you'll not merely comprehend tactical insight, you'll embody it, traversing existence with intent, authority, and grace. You'll transcend entanglement in trivia, birthing meaningful milestones. Parting nudge. You possess the essence already. No prodigy status needed for tactical mastery. No elite credentials or genius quotient. Merely openness to decelerate, perceive lucidly, and proceed purposefully. That's sufficient. You harbor the raw elements. This guide furnishes the schema. I'll accompany you throughout. Inhale deeply. Prepare to recalibrate, for you're poised to surmount any barrier not by fortune, but by finesse. Commence. Forge the tactical outlook. Ponder prior to pulse. Embark with an overlooked verity. Your paramount asset isn't erudition, aptitude, or tenure. It's electing cognition mode. Ultimately, victors aren't the brainiest, swiftest, or sturdiest. They're those who halt, appraise, and cogitate lucidly amid duress. That's Tactical Outlook's quintessence. What tactical thinking truly entails. Upon hearing tactical, visions of admirals charting campaigns, magnates forecasting markets, or maestros plotting triumphs arise. Valid, yet tactical thinking transcends high-tension arenas. It's a paradigm for tackling quandaries and prospects with purpose and vista. It entails deliberateness over reflex, selecting skirmishes, foreseeing repercussions, discerning motifs, grasping frameworks, and discerning which fulcrums yield maximal sway. It's intimately yours, aiding in diffusing familial tensions, maneuvering vocational transitions, orchestrating dialogues that mend, or weathering entrepreneurial tempests. Distinction in practice. A reflexive psyche blurts amid ire. A tactical one tempers, devising resolution that endures. Reflexive panics in turmoil. Tactical retreats, reevaluates, unearths avenues. Reflexive craves instantaneous remedies. Tactical pursues enduring harvests. This isn't tardiness or vacillation. It's premeditated, reclaiming sovereignty where others yield to sentiment, strain, or trepidation. Why multitudes pulse, instead ponder. Candor, pulsing, effortless, innate. Trigger ignites, response erupts, surprise strikes, immediate retort. Wired thus, combat or flee, primordial safeguards, instantaneous shields. Yet we dwell not in wilds. Modern enigmas demand deliberation, not instinct. Herein multitudes lag, dispatching furious missives, impulsive acquisitions, relational outbursts, premature quits or protracted clings, all reflexive entrapment. Not wholly culpable. Society exalts velocity. Accelerate, act forthwith, eschew deliberation. Yet, velocity sans vector futile. Crave not haste, crave trajectory. Tactical insight bestows that. Tactical adepts interlude, contemplate, and prosper. That interlude salvages alliances, conserves vitality, alters trajectories entirely, supplanting effective pulses with serene scrutiny, emotions no foe, harbingers, conveying vital data. Yet seldom optimal arbitrators. Envision roadway cutoff, pulse races, urge blare, bellow, accelerate, yet tactical interlude discerns, this warrants not vigor. Extrapolate to grander, spousal clash, vocational reversal, fiscal maelstrom, wellness alarm. Initial effective surge, terror, wrath, despair. Trained psyche acknowledges sun's enactment, pragmatic instrument, triple beat edict. Pre-response, 3-beat hiatus, query. Desired yield? This pulse aids or impedes, tactical selves ensuing. Triple beats preserve bonds, vitality, redirect scenarios wholly. Aim not quash emotions, steward wisely. Envision emotions meteorology. Command, not tempest, yet garb accordingly. Traverse mindfully, dash blindly, or stride intent. Serene scrutiny. Extricate from gale. Query. Veritable occurrence? Alternatives? This transmuted tumult, lucidity, cultivating cerebral restraint and horizon cognition. Herein multitudes evade, restraint. Tactical insight not momentary, psyche cultivation temporally. Restraint, deferring gratification, defying whims, envisioning beyond hour, day, week. Query, 6 moons hence? Year hence self-commend today? Habits, cognitions, persons derailing? Multitudes decide present sentiment. Tactical decide future locus. Not always jubilant, demands forbearance, yet remunerates invariably. Another cerebral instrument, prospective self-essay. Pre-decision, envision future self-observing. Applaud choice or wince ramifications. Habit dilates vista, grants perspective. Cease fretting minutia. Eschew instant triumphs, sabotaging enduring aims. You might query, innate or acquirable? Reassure, tactical insight wholly acquirable. Demands rehearsal, reiteration, volition. Train tactical psyche daily. Pose superior queries. Confront quandary, query. Genuine quandary? Triumph visage, astutest ensuing stride. Tactical adepts obsess not quandaries, lucidity. Journal resolutions. Twilight 5 minutes reflect. Today's choices, tactical or effective. Tomorrow, divergent, edifies cognizance, constancy. Engage cerebral chess. Predicament, focus not inaugural move. Ponder, duo, trio, quartet ahead. This leads whence? As chess, existence rewards anticipators, not mere responders. Encircle tacticians, milieu pivotal. Commune long horizon thinkers, thoughtful choosers, growth over gab. Habits infuse your novel identity from reflexive tactical, born not autopilot. Lead, forge, potent, sagacious, reflective resolutions. Each life's trial manageable, switching reflexive tactical, not mere aptitude. Identity transmutation. No longer panic, overreact, spiral, halt, appraise, long game player. Claim identity today. Rehearse interlude. Pose astuter query. Elect ensuing move, not impulse. Verity, psyche paramount armament. Master it, no insurmountable barrier. Precision empowers. Delineate terminus. Pose query seemingly elementary, yet unveils all. Truly crave what? Multitudes falter, precise retort. Utter, Success aspire, felicity seek, wealth augment, nebulous, not tactic, aspiration. Tactical insight commences precision. Sans endpoint lucid, craft not astute trajectory. Sans distinct aim, every diversion masquerades prospect. Hence verity, precision, paramount leverage. Vague ambitions spawn tangible tribulations. Envision vehicular, embark sans destination. Squander fuel circuits, astray or nowhere. Yet multitudes thus exist. Awaken, confront pressing, pursue haphazard prospects. Emulate others, never halt query. This propels truly crave? Sans precision, affirm distractions. Squander epoch's alien aims. Confound activity advancement. Peril busyness. Motion sans progression. Precision rectifies. No terminus. Every resolution simplifies. Cease reaction. Commence alignment. Cease dubiety. Commence purposeful motion. Delineate authentic ambitions. Commence. Authentic aim? Not parental, societal vogue. Yours? Probe deeper surface. Success me and mine, not others. Lifestyle aspire? Impact others crave. Renown what? Decade retrospective, regret omission. Not merely pursuing vocation, liaison, title. Pursuing sensation, existence, legacy. Specificity fortifies vista. Potent vision ensues. Specificity ignites tactic. Instead, success crave, articulate, edifice enterprise liberty bestows. Aids folk. Debt-free, invest 100,000 age 40. Labor quartet days. Fridays kin. Authentic precision. Tangible deed ensues. Backtrack triumph. Once aim defined, admire not. Backtrack. Tactical adepts dream not forward, plan retrograde. Gaze terminus, query, what necessitate true? Suppose terminus authored tome, envision grasping volume. Preceding stride, publishing pact. Antecedent, manuscript culmination. Prior, chapter composition. Before, outline drafting. Preceding, weekly carving script time. Aim transmutes, not fancy, lucid, manageable, strides series. Another illustration, fiscal autonomy decade. Query, autonomy signifies sum, lifestyle, annual, earn, save, invest, necessitate, skills prospects enable. Month commence, propel, fracture grand aim, minuscule traceable markers. Markers, roadmap. Prioritize outcome-oriented. Precision, sans deed, mere clamor. Hence tactical adepts query, not do what. Matters utmost now, whither aspire. Secret outcome-oriented priorities, tasks unequal. Some urgent feel, matter not. Others urgent not, massively vital. Tactical prioritize impact, not impulse. Suppose Side Venture 6 Moons launch. Could scroll branding notions hours, view logo vids, or erect inaugural product, contact prospective patrons, validate notion. Which propels swiftest? Daily query. Task directly terminus aligns. Not, excise, delegate, defer. Habit salvages multitudes hours annum. Bestows potent term, nay. No terminus, nay permitted, requisite, non-aiding. Recollect, nay goods how yea grates. Bonus, singular sentence tactic. Delineate entire tactic, solitary sentence. Exemplar, coaching enterprise erect supplant 9 to 5 revenue annum. Health prioritize. 2 decades high caliber exist. Digital wares craft passive income earn, reclaim time. Compels precision. Can't explicate tactic solitary sentence, Unclear yet. Inscribe. Peruse diurnal. Guide choices. Don't merely traverse meaningfully. Enfold verity. Motion, not advancement. Precision transfigures motion momentum. Here, not busied remain. Edifice matters, purposeful exist, not autopilot. Lead existence, not react. Tactical thinking, perfection, not precision. Today commence. Delineate, truly crave, not others anticipate. Backtrack, aim, simple diurnal deeds. Ruthlessly prioritize paramount. Once what, why, lucid, how demystifies. Dreaming no more. Designing. Intel empowers. A mass pre-maneuver. Envision battlefield ingress. Terrain unseen, foe concealed, arms unknown. Charge forth? Nay. Yet multitudes approach existence, vocation, bonds, even wellness thus. Enact sans insight, traverse pre-learning. Confound motion mastery, you honing tactical insight. Golden edict, intel armament, a mass pre-maneuver. If precision empowers, intel precision. Permits lucid vision, accurate aim, confident execution. Advantage multitudes lack, multitudes time not a mass pre-enact. Unpack essential habit, transform cognition deed, sans overthought snare. Astute tactician, a masses pre-advance. Every tactic maestro, Sun Tzu contemporary moguls, shares creed. Cognition empowers, if apt cognition. Aim not omniscience. Sufficient apts, astute maneuver. Suppose venture launch? Intel necessitate? Patrons who? Acquire what? Lament what? Market void? Rivals enact, eschew? No doctorate requisite amass. Curiosity, restraint. Shift. Conjecture cease. Unearth commence. Embed inquiry tactic. Not stall. Launchpad. Optimal tactical maneuvers nearly imperceptible. Effortless appear. Yet behind, insight. Amass pertinent, punctual intel. Render pragmatic. Triple sieves apply inquiry. Pertinence, punctuality, veracity. Pertinence, intel aids resolution. Quandary resolved now? Evade burrows mere intellect feel. Punctuality, recent, world mutates swift, base not quinquennial counsel. Veracity, who bestows, proven, seasoned, or voluble. Web cacophony replete. Task, signal on earth. Few trustworthy origins, broad initially, profound subsequent. Suppose personal finances enhance, foundational tomes peruse, perspectives juxtapose, data scrutinize, confer accomplished, aspire. Key. Surface facts not halt, query implication. Context. Applies peculiar circumstance. Tactical adepts halt not occurred, query why occurred, learn thence. Evade overthought snare, under prep. Peril zones address. Analysis paralysis, reckless enactment. Tactical equilibrium. Some inquire ceaselessly. Amass more, perfect retort, hope, perfection myth. Never 100% ready. Others impulsive enact. Plan not, verify not, traverse, collide. Extremes perilous. Superior, learn sufficient, landscape, comprehend. Gaps identify. Paramount fill. Advance sturdy yet supple scheme. Think, house sans blueprint not erect, yet blueprint perpetual redraw not. Aim not perfect intel, sufficient, tactical acuity, hit point, proceed. 70% assured, advance. Transform inquiry, actionable acumen. Herein tactic diverges. Trivia, facts amass insufficient, intel transmute. Query motifs discern, operative why, gaps where, others overlook, leverage. Suppose vocational, pivot, prep. Market inquire, demand, skills discern, notice, ideal role. Storytelling, Data analysis, prize. Acumen, act. Duo, skills acquire. Project, erect. Position accordingly. Inquiry, tactic transmuted. Simple triple stride, method. Any inquiry, intel transmute. Amass, astute. Sieve pertinence, punctuality, veracity. Synthesize swift. Overlaps, contradictions, concealed prospects seek. Act forthwith. Insights low risk, minor experiment apply. Test swift, learn swifter. Data sans direction nil. Insight sans deed, mere cerebral diversion. Intel long-haul asset, tactical adepts treat cognition investment. More amass, cerebral links multiply. Motifs recognize, shortcuts forge. Hence pinnacle performers peruse ceaselessly. Not memorize, train discern. Book, dialogue, article, mental arsenal component. Someday stringent parlay, split-second verdict. Arsenal extract precise need. Not fortune, tactical prep. Query, weak learn what? Life/work domain drastically enhance better informed? Select, delve, not eternal, sufficient act. Astute, 90% never homework. Don't merely traverse, traverse acumen. Enfold potent verity, swift good. Astute superior, swift astute invincible. Needn't loudest, flashiest, giftedest, need clairvoyant whilst others conjecture blindly. Amass pertinent, punctual, credible intel. Extremes evade. Stall not, leap. Sightless not. Inquiry intel, transmute. Intel deed. Noisy realm, ponderer triumphs. Master tactical cognition, now. Discern arena, command grand vista. Envision duo chess engaging. One fixates ensuing maneuver. Other surveils entirety. Several maneuvers forth. Ponders not pieces, motifs. Victor, grand vista wielder. Existence, commerce, bonds, resolutions. Never mere forefront. Potent tacticians, leaders, adapters, outperformers. Utilize arena, cognize pieces interlock, comprehend motifs, project ensuing. Grand vista cognition. World clamor distractions replete. Zoom out, discern lucidly, superpotence. Frameworks cognition, tactic macro. Grand vista core, frameworks cognition. What? Discern. Components, integrate, totality. Sans isolation, view quandaries. Recognize motifs, interlinks, concealed origins. Frameworks cognition, quandary root unearths, not symptoms. Suppose, overseer, cadre output wanes. Multitudes, individuals scrutinize, exert more, rectify routines. Frameworks query, workload mutated, implements antiquated, interchange fracturing, upstream cause downstream effect. Vista zoom, quandary root identify, not symptoms. Every trial framework component, framework comprehend, influence. Redesign, outwit. Link dots chaos others discern. Tactical adepts singular faculty. Link others overlook. Discern links sectors, disciplines, epochs. Whilst multitudes lane confined, tacticians horizon scan. Trends seek. Tipping junctures, ripple repercussions, forces interplays. Network cognition rare potent. Elon Musk. Vigor dots link. Energy, transit, AI, cosmos domain. Not fortuitous, vista. Billionaire needn't, rehearse, zoom out, query grander. This integrates larger, second, third order ramifications. Affected who this resolution? Emerging motif. Grand vista adepts discern is, could be. Motif discernment. Tactician super aptitude. Deeper delve, grand vista cognition. Cerebral trains motifs recognize. Motifs tactician, paramount armament. Why? Human conduct, market conduct, growth, Personal motifs adhere. Motif recognize, yields predict. Errors eschew repetition. Leverage junctures identify. Suppose own resolution-making motif discern. Pressure, haste. Tactical acumen. Plan thence, decelerate. Protocols erect safeguard. Or cadre. Novel where sans patron feedback. Launches, flops. Motif. Process adjust. Grand tacticians smarter. Labor, not harder. Motifs learn. Query routine. Veritable occurrence subsurface. More motifs seek. Appear more. Deed thereon maneuvers tacticaler. Chart terrain. Actors. Potency. Stances. Herein exhilarant tactical. Tacticians terrain chart akin admirals or pinnacle parlayers. Sans blindness. Situation ingress. Instead query. Actors who? Involved, direct, indirect, influence. Who? Veiled. Potency. Where? Resolutions. Who? Opinions. Who? Molds. Resources. Who commands? Stances. What? Interests. Each. Gain. Lose. What? Alliances. Forming. Shifting. How? Commerce. Conclave. Parlay. Novel. Bond. Mapping. Grants. Lucidity. Potency. Structure. Cognize. Self-position. Astute. Personal bonds too. Mapping aids. Partner. Resolutions. Who sways. Emotional dynamics. What? Unspoken anticipations. Where? Arena. Discernment averts. Traps. Ingress. Unearths prospects unseen. Cognition. Strata. Timelines. Grand vista. Adepts wide. Not solely. Protracted. Timelines. Ponder. This today. Ensuing week. Annum. Strata ponder. Surface quandary. Deeper effective systemic origin. Three strides. Effect. What? Suppose. Vocational. Pivot. Ponder. Instead. More remunerate. Query. Lifestyle impact. Novel aptitudes gain. Path leads 5 annums hence. Doors open, close now. Strata cognition. Resolutions tactical investments transmutes. Evade. Tunnel vista. Short haul snares. Paramount perils existence. Tunnel vista. Singular quandary. Goal fixate. Ignore grand vista. Tunnel vista poor resolutions breeds. Velocity over sustainability elects. Today triumph, tomorrow forfeit. 1 quandary resolves, 3 spawns. Tunnel vista long haul aims sabotages. Grand vista adepts outzoom, pre and zoom. Query, long game part? Trade-offs what? Right quandary resolve, tunnel vista adepts not. Grand vista tacticians. 1 greatest hazards, tunnel vista. Pressure haste leads poor choices. Tunnel vista movement sustains, sans discernment. Final thoughts. See further. Play smarter. Let's wrap up with this. Big picture thinking isn't a skill reserved for CEOs or generals. It's available to anyone who trains their mind to think wider, deeper, and longer. So, here's your takeaway. Start asking bigger questions. Look for connections, patterns, and power dynamics. Map the players, see the pieces, and anticipate the plays. When everyone else is focused on the next move, you'll be building the next 10. That's not luck, that's vision. And the ability to see the board, that's how you outsmart any challenge before it even arrives. Chapter 5. Anticipation, the key to outsmarting obstacles. There's a moment in every game, every negotiation, every challenge, when the one who sees ahead quietly takes the lead. No drama, no sudden moves, just calm calculation. They already know what's coming. They've already thought it through. While others react, they're executing. That's the power of anticipation. Strategic thinkers don't wait for the wave to hit. They watch the tide and position themselves before the storm. They don't just prepare for what's likely, they prepare for what's possible. And that's what this chapter is about. This chapter is your invitation to start thinking 2, 3, even 10 steps ahead, not with fear or anxiety, but with clarity and confidence. Let's break it down. The art of thinking several moves ahead. Let's return to our chessboard. What separates the amateur from the master? It's not memorization. It's anticipation. The master knows that every move changes the shape of the future. So they don't just ask, what do I want to do next? They ask, what will this trigger? How will the other side respond? Where will this lead 5 moves from now? In life, this might look like starting a side hustle, knowing it'll open future freedom. Saying no to an opportunity because it leads to the wrong kind of yes. Investing in a relationship, knowing the trust built now pays off later. It's not magic, it's foresight. And foresight is a skill. You build it by stepping outside the moment and asking, if I take this path, what's likely to happen next? Then do it again and again. Follow the chain forward. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. You'll begin to see future outcomes forming like shadows before they arrive. Scenario planning. Prepare for multiple futures. Life isn't linear. It throws curveballs, detours, and surprises. That's why great strategists don't just plan, they scenario plan. Instead of betting everything on a single outcome, they prepare for multiple possibilities. This doesn't mean being paranoid. It means being positioned. Here's how to think in scenarios. The likely scenario. What is the most probable outcome? This is your baseline plan. The best case scenario. If things go better than expected, what's your play? How do you scale, double down, or ride the wave? The worst case scenario. If things go wrong, how do you protect yourself? What's your exit strategy or damage control? The wild card. What if something completely unexpected happens? New competition, sudden opportunity, personal change. How do you stay adaptable? This approach is used by elite entrepreneurs, military leaders, and even astronauts, and it works just as well for everyday life. Planning a career shift? Map the best and worst outcomes. Launching a product? Consider delays, demand, and disaster recovery. Starting a relationship? Think ahead to values, goals, and friction points. The goal isn't to predict the future. It's to be prepared, no matter which future shows up. Contingency thinking, your hidden armor. Closely related to scenario planning is contingency thinking. This is your backup plan mindset. The ability to say, if plan A fails, I've got B, C, and D in my back pocket. Why is this powerful? Because it removes fear. It builds confidence. It keeps you moving. Think of contingency thinking like a mental parachute. You hope you never need it, but knowing it's there frees you to act boldly. Ask yourself, what's my next move if this doesn't work? How can I pivot without losing momentum? What small adjustments can turn setbacks into stepping stones? Contingency thinking also makes you resilient because now obstacles aren't failures, they're alternate routes. You stop fearing uncertainty and start embracing it. You're not caught off guard, you're covered. Reading people, anticipating behavior before it happens. Let's shift from systems and scenarios to people. Because when you can anticipate human behavior, you become an unstoppable strategist. Every decision, every negotiation, every collaboration involves people. And people, despite their uniqueness, follow predictable patterns if you know what to look for. Here's how to read people like a strategist. Study motivations. Ask, what does this person really want? Is it respect, security, power, freedom, recognition? Watch patterns. How do they behave under pressure? How do they handle conflict? What have they done in similar situations before? Listen between the lines. What's not being said? What emotions or fears are driving their tone, silence, or enthusiasm? Anticipate reactions. If you challenge them, will they get defensive? If you praise them, will they open up? If you propose change, will they resist or adapt? When you learn to read people like this, your strategic options multiply. You can lead more effectively. You can negotiate with precision. You can diffuse conflict before it ignites. And perhaps most importantly, you can build trust by showing others you understand them. Because in the end, people don't want to be controlled. They want to be seen. And the better you see them, the better you can predict their moves and work with them, not against them. Training your mind to anticipate. Now let's talk habits. How do you make anticipation second nature? Here are 5 powerful practices. Pause before you decide. Before any big decision, ask, what are the next 3 likely consequences of this move? Create space between impulse and action. Play mental simulations. Visualize possible scenarios, good, bad, and strange. Ask, how would I respond? This builds mental agility. Use the 10-10 rule. How will this decision affect me in 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 years? It expands your time horizon. Keep a what-if journal regularly. Jot down what if X happens. How would I respond? Think of it as contingency training. Debrief decisions. After key moments, reflect. What did I expect? What actually happened? What did I miss? This turns experience into wisdom. Every time you anticipate effectively, even in small things, you sharpen your edge. You build mental reflexes that will serve you when the stakes are high. Final thoughts. From reaction to prediction. Anticipation isn't about living in fear of the unknown. It's about becoming a master of it. It's the shift from reacting to predicting, from surviving to strategizing, from uncertainty to clarity. And here's the best part. You don't have to see the entire future. You just need to see further than the average person. Because when you think several moves ahead, when you plan for multiple outcomes, when you read people with clarity, you stop being a pawn in the game and you become the one moving the pieces. That's the power of anticipation, and it's yours now. Chapter 6. Timing is strategy. When to move and when to wait. There's a saying among seasoned strategists, the right move at the wrong time is still the wrong move. Power, insight, even bold vision, none of it matters if your timing is off. If you move too soon, you waste energy. If you wait too long, you miss opportunity. But if you strike at the perfect moment, suddenly the world opens up. That's what this chapter is all about. Not just knowing what to do, but knowing when to do it. Timing is strategy. It's the quiet force behind every major breakthrough, every decisive win, every brilliant decision that looks effortless in hindsight. Let's dive in. Why patience is the ultimate strategic weapon. Let's start with a tough truth. Most people lose not because they lack ideas, ambition, or talent, but because they move too fast. They chase the short-term win. They act on impulse. They push when they should pause. Why? Because patience feels like weakness. It feels like doing nothing. But in reality, patience is power in disguise. True strategic patience is active. It means waiting with awareness, preparing while others panic, observing when others rush. Think about nature. The eagle doesn't flap around. It soars, waits, watches, and then dives. The archer doesn't shoot immediately. They draw, aim, breathe, then release. A seasoned negotiator doesn't speak first. They listen, analyze, and respond with precision. And this kind of waiting isn't passive. It's precise. It's knowing the difference between motion and progress. And most importantly, it's understanding that the goal isn't to act fast. It's to act right. Identifying high-leverage moments. So, how do you know when it's the right time to move? Welcome to the concept of leverage points. Moments where small actions create massive results. High-leverage moments are the sweet spot of strategy. The one conversation that shifts an entire deal. The one tweak that transforms a failing project. The one message sent at just the right hour. But these moments are easy to miss unless you're looking for them. Here's how to identify them. Watch for tension peaks. Often, the best time to act is when tension is highest, when your action can bring clarity, resolution, or release. In negotiation, this is when silence has stretched and the other side is leaning in. Time the market, not the mood. Whether it's business, relationships, or career decisions, align your moves with external readiness, not internal impatience. Feelings lie, patterns don't. Monitor signals, not just noise. Look for signs beneath the surface, shifts in behavior, timing, readiness, or power. Often, opportunity whispers before it knocks. Leverage the readiness window. Timing isn't just about your readiness, it's about the world's readiness. Don't launch too early. Build anticipation. Don't wait too long. Ride the momentum. Think of it like surfing. You don't control the waves, but if you learn to read them, you know exactly when to paddle, when to rise, and when to ride. Avoiding impulse decisions. Let's talk about the enemy of great timing, impulsiveness. We've all been there. You feel a spark, a surge, a burst of inspiration. And before you know it, you've hit send, made the call, pulled the trigger. Sometimes it works. Most times it doesn't. Because impulsive decisions are reactive. They feel urgent but often lack context. And in strategy, context is everything. Here's how to avoid impulse decisions without losing your edge. Build in a delay rule. For any big decision, pause for 24 hours. This one habit alone can save you thousands in regret. Ask the 5-year question. Will this matter in 5 years? This reframes temporary emotion into long-term thinking. Check your triggers. Recognize what throws off your timing. Fear, ego, boredom, urgency. Once you spot the trigger, you can stop the spiral. Consult a neutral voice. A trusted friend or mentor can be your mirror. If they're not emotionally involved, they'll see the timing gaps you might miss. Shift from reaction to response. Reacting is instant. Responding is intentional. Always aim for the latter. Remember, strategy is about stacking the odds in your favor, not gambling on adrenaline. Escaping analysis paralysis. Now, let's swing to the opposite extreme, overthinking. Some people wait too long. They analyze every angle, run every scenario, imagine every failure. They don't miss the train because they were late. They miss it because they never boarded. That's analysis paralysis. Here's how to move through it without losing strategic precision. Set a decision deadline. Give yourself a realistic but firm timeline to decide. Clarity loves a clock. Define enough information. Strategic thinkers know when they've gathered enough intel to move. You don't need all the facts, just the right ones. Use the 70% rule. If you're 70% confident, move. Waiting for 100% certainty leads to missed windows. Even Jeff Bezos uses this model to act decisively. Trust the process, not just the outcome. Sometimes you can't guarantee the result. But if your thinking is clear, your timing is usually close. Remember, perfection is the enemy of progress. Many high performers wait for the perfect plan, but perfect is a myth. Momentum matters more than mastery. You can always adjust mid-course, but you can't steer a parked car. The strategic sweet spot, balancing speed and stillness. So, how do you balance it all? Here's the truth. Strategy is a dance between patience and precision. You need to wait long enough to see the full picture, but act fast enough to seize your moment. It's the art of being ready and patient. So when your moment arrives, you don't hesitate. You move with confidence, with power, with clarity. This is what that looks like. A founder who doesn't rush to launch, but doesn't miss their market window. A job seeker who waits for alignment, not just availability. A creative who doesn't publish before the work is great, but doesn't over-edit forever. This is the sweet spot of strategic timing, and when you master it, you stop chasing life and start meeting it exactly where it's most powerful. Final thoughts. Time is not your enemy, it's your weapon. Timing isn't just a detail of strategy, it's the heartbeat of it. Move too soon and you fail. Move too late and you miss. But move just right and the world bends in your favor. So here's your new mindset. I don't need to rush. I don't need to wait. I need to read the moment and then move with precision. Whether it's a business deal, a big life change, or a simple daily decision, the more you trust in timing, the more powerful your presence becomes. Because in the end, great strategists don't force the game. They feel the rhythm, and then they make their move. Chapter 7. Leverage. How to win with less effort. There's a secret behind every outsized success story. It's not always about hustle. It's not about working 18-hour days grinding through burnout or carrying the whole weight on your shoulders. It's about leverage. Leverage means using a small input to create a massive output. Think of it like this. A single person can't lift a car, but give them a hydraulic jack, a tool that multiplies their strength, and suddenly what was impossible becomes effortless. That's leverage, and it's available to you right now. You don't need superpowers, you just need to think like a strategist. In this chapter, we'll explore how to spot your hidden leverage points. Work smarter, not just harder. Use people, tools, and systems to multiply your power. Ready to stop pushing harder and start pulling smarter? Let's begin. What leverage really means? Leverage is one of those words people toss around without really defining. In strategic thinking, leverage is this: using minimal effort, resources, or time to generate maximum impact. It's about creating a force multiplier, a way to make one action produce exponential results. Here are a few real-world examples. A single social media post that brings in thousands of customers. An automation that saves you 5 hours a week. A connection that opens doors to new partnerships or opportunities. A decision that removes 10 daily problems at once. The best strategists aren't just asking, what do I need to do? They're asking, how can I make this easier, smarter, and more effective? That mindset changes everything. Step 1. Identifying your leverage points. The first move is simple, but powerful. Spot where your leverage lives. Look at your goals. Now ask, where am I putting in 80% effort for 20% result? Where am I getting 80% of my results from only 20% of my actions? This is the famous 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. It tells us most of our results come from a small number of our inputs. The trick is to double down on the few things that matter most. Here are 4 common leverage points to examine in your own life. Time leverage. What tasks can you automate, delegate, or eliminate? Skill leverage. What unique skill gives you the biggest return? Are you maximizing it? Network leverage. Who do you know that already has access, answers, or influence? Platform leverage. Are you building assets like content, tools, or reputation that work while you sleep? The goal isn't to do more. It's to do less, better. Step 2. Working smarter, not harder. There's a myth that success only comes from hard work, and while effort matters, it's smart effort that truly separates winners from the worn out. Here's how to shift into working smarter. Batch and block group similar tasks together, like emails, meetings, creative work, and handle them in focus time blocks. This minimizes mental switching and boosts efficiency. Systematize repetition. Anything you do more than twice, build a process, templates, checklists, standard operating procedures. These aren't just for businesses, they're for anyone who values time. Use the rule of 3. Pick 3 high-impact tasks per day. If everything's a priority, nothing is. Focus creates leverage. Ask better questions instead of, how can I get this done? Ask, how can this get done without me? How can this get done faster? What would make this unnecessary? Strategic questions create smarter paths. Step 3. Leveraging relationships. One of the most powerful but underused forms of leverage. Other people. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Isaac Newton. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know someone who does. Here's how to build relationship leverage the right way. Be a giver first. Help others solve problems. Offer value before asking for it. This builds trust, and trust is leverage. Map your network. Who do you know? What are they great at? Where are the gaps you can fill, or where they can fill yours? Make a personal, strategic relationship map. You'll be surprised how connected you already are. Collaborate, don't compete. Find people with complementary strengths. Partner on projects. Co-create. 1 + 1 can equal 5 when the synergy is right. Leverage mentors and allies. A 30-minute conversation with the right mentor can save you 3 years of trial and error. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions, and listen deeply. People are not just contacts, they are catalysts. Step 4. Leveraging technology and tools. We live in an era where technology is leverage on tap, yet many people still use their smartphones to scroll instead of solve. Here's how to turn tools into time savers, not time wasters. Automate repetitive tasks. Use tools like Calendly for scheduling, Zapier for workflow automation, AI tools for writing, summarizing, or research. Every minute you automate is a minute you reclaim. Use AI as an amplifier, not a replacement. Smart strategists don't fear technology. They use it to think faster, research deeper, and execute cleaner. Ask yourself, what can AI help me start, speed up, or simplify? Build or use systems, create dashboards, spreadsheets, templates, or databases that organize your work and free your brain for higher-level thinking. Invest once, benefit often. Buy the right gear, software, or setup once and let it serve you for years. One-time investments often produce long-term leverage. Remember, every tool is either a lever or a distraction. Choose wisely. Step 5. Leveraging resources. Strategically, resources aren't just money. They're time, energy, knowledge, people, and positioning. Strategic thinkers ask, what do I already have that I'm not using? What resource do I need that could change everything? How can I turn what I lack into creative advantage? Some ways to use resources better. Repurpose old work into new value. Turn blog posts into a book. Videos into courses. Barter skills instead of buying services. Find underutilized assets, space, tools, people, and reframe their use or where they can fill yours. Leverage is rarely about more. It's about better. Final mindset shift. Leverage is not laziness. Some people confuse leverage with laziness. They say that's a shortcut, or real success takes sweat. Here's the truth. Leverage isn't about escaping work. It's about designing your efforts so every ounce matters. It's the difference between digging with a spoon or digging with an excavator. It's not cheating, it's thinking. And the moment you realize that, you unlock a new level of possibility. Final thoughts. Build a life that compounds. The most powerful use of leverage, creating things that compound. That means building relationships that grow over time, creating content or assets that work while you sleep, designing habits and systems that improve with each use. Leverage isn't just about today's effort. It's about setting up wins that stack tomorrow and the day after that. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the world. Archimedes, you have the lever. You're finding the place to stand, and now you're ready to move mountains with less force, more finesse, and strategic power that multiplies. Chapter 8. Adapting on the fly. Strategic agility in action. Life rarely goes according to plan. Your strategy might be solid, your goals might be clear. You may have prepared for everything you thought could happen. Then, the world shifts. A curveball comes your way. The rules change. The market flips. The relationship cracks. The unexpected arrives, and it doesn't knock first. This is where many people freeze, panic, or quit, but not the strategic thinker. You see, there's a secret that every master strategist knows. The plan matters, but the ability to pivot matters more. Adaptability isn't weakness, it's intelligence in motion. In this chapter, we'll explore how to pivot without panic, how to make fast, effective decisions under pressure, how to stay flexible without losing focus. In short, you'll learn how to bend without breaking. Let's dive in. The power of strategic agility. In today's world, agility is one of the most underappreciated forms of power. It's not enough to be smart. You need to be smart in motion. Strategic agility means this: you can respond to change with clarity, make quick but thoughtful decisions, and realign your actions without abandoning your long-term vision. It's what Navy SEALs call calm is contagious. It's what entrepreneurs call pivoting. It's what athletes call flow. It's the ability to adapt on the fly without losing control. This isn't guesswork, it's a skill. And like any skill, you can train it. Let's begin with the most important shift of all. How to pivot without panic, Part 1. How to pivot without panic. Panic comes from surprise, from thinking you had control, and suddenly realizing you don't. But here's the first rule of strategic agility. Expect the unexpected. Change, disruption, failure, delays, none of these are anomalies. They are inevitable. The real question is not will something go wrong, it's how ready am I to respond when it does. Here's how to pivot without losing your cool. Slow down before you speed up. When everything feels urgent, the worst thing you can do is react on impulse. Take a breath. Create space. Ask what's actually happening. What's the new reality? What matters most now? Reassess the landscape. Strategists don't cling to what was. They update their mental map in real time. Ask what's changed, what stays true, what assumptions need adjusting. 3. Define the new objective. What was your original goal? Now ask, is that still possible? Is there a better outcome available now? What's the next best move? Pivoting isn't about giving up, it's about recalculating. Just like GPS, recalculating route doesn't mean you failed. It means you're still going, but with better data. Part 2. Real-time decision-making. You don't always get time to research, plan, and prepare. Sometimes you need to make decisions right now. So, how do strategics, thinkers, make fast, effective decisions without freezing? They follow a few core principles. Use the OODA loop, originally developed by military strategist John Boyd. The OODA loop is a powerful framework for quick thinking. Observe, what are the facts right now? Orient, what do they mean in your context? Decide, what's the best option available? Act, move swiftly and prepare to repeat the cycle. The loop repeats constantly. It's fluid. It keeps you sharp, adaptable, and always one step ahead. Define your decision filters. When the pressure is on, you don't want to invent criteria. Predefine your filters. Does this move align with my values? Does it protect or progress my long-term vision? Does it avoid irreversible damage? These questions help you cut through noise and act with clarity. Trust your trained instinct. Strategic agility is a mix of analysis and intuition. The more you've trained your thinking through reading, reflection, pattern recognition, the more your instincts become educated guesses, not random reactions. Don't ignore your gut. Just make sure it's a gut informed by experience. Part 3. Staying flexible. While staying focused, this is where most people struggle. They either stay too rigid, refusing to change course, or become too scattered, constantly shifting focus. Art is to be fluid in approach but fixed in purpose. Here's how to strike that balance. Hold your vision. Loosen the plan. Your why shouldn't change every week, but your how should. Say your goal is to grow your business, launch a book, or transform your health. That vision stays, but the route may need constant tweaks. Ask, what hill am I climbing? What path gets me there now that the terrain has changed? Flexibility isn't about losing sight of the goal. It's about finding a better road when the old one crumbles. Use feedback, not fear. Fear makes you retreat. Feedback makes you refine. Everything is feedback. A failed launch, a missed opportunity, a surprise twist. Ask, what is this teaching me? What can I improve? What did I learn about myself? The strategic mind doesn't fear feedback. It feeds on it. Maintain rituals in chaos. When things feel uncertain, routines become anchors. Whether it's your morning habit, journaling practice, weekly review, or mindset reset, keep your rituals steady. They're your compass in the storm. Consistency in your behavior creates clarity in your thinking. Real-world strategic agility in action. Let's look at a few examples of strategic agility in the real world. Case 1. Netflix. Netflix started by mailing DVDs. Then, the internet got faster and they pivoted to streaming. They didn't cling to the old model. They adapted ahead of the curve. Later, they started producing original content. That move put them in direct competition with Hollywood and positioned them as a leader. They evolved again and again, and their strategic agility built an empire. Case 2. A freelancer in a crisis. When the pandemic hit, a freelance event photographer lost all bookings. Instead of panicking, she asked, "Where is demand growing?" She pivoted to product photography for e-commerce brands, then built a remote setup. Within 6 months, she was earning more than before. She didn't wait for conditions to improve. She adapted with speed and clarity. That's strategic agility in action. Final thoughts. The future belongs to the flexible. The world is changing faster than ever. Industries, tools, opportunities, everything is moving. Rigid minds break. Reactive minds panic. But strategic minds, they pivot, adjust, evolve. The bamboo bends in the storm but doesn't break. If you want to outsmart challenges in the real world, you don't need perfect plans. You need a flexible strategy, rooted in a clear vision, grounded values, and a calm thinking mind. Adaptation is not a backup plan. It's your greatest edge. Chapter 9. Psychological warfare. Outsmarting through influence. In the chess game of life and leadership, brute force is rarely the winning move. True power lies in influence, the subtle art of guiding others' thoughts, feelings, and actions without them realizing it. This is psychological warfare, not the war of violence, but the battle of minds. It's about understanding what drives people, how they decide, and how you can ethically shape those decisions. Today, we'll explore the fundamentals of human behavior and motivation, how to communicate strategically and persuade effectively, why ethics matter when wielding influence. Let's unlock the invisible forces that make strategic thinkers unbeatable. Part 1. Understanding human behavior and motivation. Before you can influence others, you must understand what moves them. At the heart of every decision is a web of emotions, needs, and beliefs. Here's what every strategic thinker needs to know about human motivation. People are predictably irrational. While humans like to think of themselves as logical, most decisions are influenced by emotion, habit, and bias. Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel psychologist, taught us that our brains use shortcuts called heuristics that sometimes lead to irrational choices. As a strategist, understanding these predictable quirks helps you anticipate responses and guide outcomes. The three core human needs psychologists often highlight three universal needs driving behavior: autonomy, the desire to feel in control of one's actions; belonging, the need to connect and feel accepted; competence, the urge to feel capable and effective. When your strategy taps into these needs, whether in negotiation, leadership, or persuasion, you activate powerful motivators. The power of storytelling. Humans are wired for stories. Facts and figures persuade the mind, but stories move the heart. Stories create empathy, simplify complexity, and anchor ideas in memory. Great strategists use storytelling as a bridge, turning dry logic into compelling influence. Part 2. Strategic communication and persuasion. Knowing what moves people is just the start. Next, you must master how to communicate your ideas so they resonate and inspire action. Here's how to do it strategically. The art of listening. Persuasion starts with listening. Before you influence, you must understand what are their fears, what do they value, what objections do they hold. Active listening shows respect and reveals the keys to unlock resistance. Speak their language. Effective communicators adapt their message to the audience's worldview. Use words and frames that connect with their values and priorities. For example, a logical thinker responds to data and analysis. An emotional thinker responds to feelings and vision. Adjust your language to meet them where they are. The principle of reciprocity. People feel compelled to return favors and kindness. This ancient social rule can be a powerful lever in influence. Give first a compliment, helpful information, or a small gift. It creates goodwill and a subtle obligation. But remember, authenticity is key. Manipulation backfires. Framing and anchoring. How you present information shapes decisions. Framing, emphasizing certain aspects of a choice. Anchoring, using a reference point to influence perception. Example, presenting a price as only $10 a day feels more affordable than $300 per month. Great strategists carefully frame offers and arguments for maximum impact. Part 3. The ethical side of influence. With great power comes great responsibility. Influence is a tool. Like any tool, it can build or destroy. Ethical influence means respecting autonomy and freedom of choice, avoiding manipulation, coercion, or deception, seeking win-win outcomes rather than exploitation. When you lead with integrity, your influence builds trust, the foundation of lasting power. Practical tips for ethical influence. Be transparent. Share your intentions honestly. Listen more than you speak. Truly understand needs and concerns. Aim for mutual benefit. Influence that harms others backfires in the long run. Respect boundaries. Know when to push and when to pull back. Ethical influence is not weakness. It's strategic strength. Real-world examples of psychological strategy. Nelson Mandela's influence. Mandela's power wasn't in force. It was in his ability to inspire reconciliation. He understood the fears and hopes of both sides in apartheid South Africa by listening, communicating vision, and fostering empathy. He shifted a nation's mindset. Steve Jobs and storytelling. Jobs didn't just sell products. He sold dreams. His presentations told stories that connected with customers' identities and aspirations, making Apple an icon. Final thoughts. The invisible edge. The most powerful battles aren't fought with weapons. They're fought in the mind. When you master psychological warfare through influence, you unlock an invisible edge over challenges and competitors. Remember, understand what drives people. Communicate with clarity and empathy. Influence ethically and with respect. This is the art of strategic thinking at its finest. Chapter 10. Execution. Turning strategy into real-world results. You have a vision. You've thought strategically. You've adapted with agility. You know how to influence and lead. But none of it matters if you don't execute. Execution is where dreams meet reality. It's the bridge between your ideas and outcomes. Many people get stuck here. They have brilliant plans, but struggle to take consistent action. Or they lose momentum or get overwhelmed by details. That's why this chapter is crucial. We're going to uncover how to bridge the gap between plans and action by building strategic habits, systems, and feedback loops that keep you moving forward, no matter what. Part 1. Bridging the gap between plans and action. A great strategy without execution is just a wish. The difference between winners and dreamers is this. Winners do what they say they'll do. Dreamers keep planning, dreaming, and hoping. So, how do you get from planning to doing? Break it down into small, clear steps. Complex strategies can overwhelm. You need to chunk your big vision into specific, manageable tasks. Instead of grow my business, start with reach out to 5 potential clients today. Write a blog post this week. Launch a social media ad next month. Each small step is a building block. Over time, these blocks stack into skyscrapers. Set deadlines and accountability. Deadlines create urgency. Without them, tasks linger indefinitely. Add accountability by sharing your goals with a mentor or friend. Using apps or calendars to track progress, rewarding yourself for milestones. Accountability turns intention into action. Eliminate distractions and bottlenecks. Identify what stops you from acting. Is it fear, perfectionism, lack of clarity? Are there environmental distractions? Design your workspace and schedule to minimize friction. Clear obstacles so momentum flows freely. Part 2. Strategic habits and systems. Execution isn't just about bursts of willpower. It's about daily habits and reliable systems. Habits automate success. Systems create consistency. Build keystone habits. Keystone habits are small actions that trigger positive ripple effects. Examples include morning routines that set your mindset, daily review of priorities, journaling to track wins and lessons. Identify and cultivate habits that align with your strategy. Create systems for repetition. Systems are workflows and routines designed to produce results regularly. For example, a weekly planning session, a customer follow-up process, a monthly performance review. Systems reduce decision fatigue and keep your efforts focused. Part 3. Measuring and refining your progress. Execution is not a set-it-and-forget-it process. You need to measure results, learn, and adjust. Track key metrics. What matters gets measured. Choose a few critical indicators of progress, such as sales or leads generated, hours spent on focused work, client satisfaction, personal well-being, and energy. Regularly review these numbers to stay informed. Reflect and adapt. Schedule weekly or monthly reflection time. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What can I improve? Use insights to tweak your strategy or execution systems. Celebrate wins and learn from losses. Recognition fuels motivation. Celebrate milestones, no matter how small. When setbacks happen, view them as learning. Opportunities, not failures. Every lesson sharpens your strategic edge. Real-world example. Elon Musk's execution strategy. Elon Musk famously breaks his massive goals into tiny, actionable tasks. He schedules his day in 5-minute blocks and constantly reviews progress. His relentless focus on execution, paired with strategic vision, drives innovation and results. Final thoughts. From strategy to success. Strategy without execution is like a map without a journey. Execution turns your mental game into real-world impact. By breaking down goals, building habits and systems, and measuring your progress, you transform intention into unstoppable momentum. Remember, a plan only becomes powerful when acted upon consistently. Your greatest strength is your ability to do, not just think or plan. Conclusion: your strategic edge. Living life as a master tactician, you've come a long way from understanding what strategic thinking really is to mastering mental discipline, clarity, timing, leverage, and influence, and finally to executing your plans with discipline and reflection. Now it's time for the most important step: making strategic thinking your lifestyle. Embed strategy into everything you do. Strategic thinking isn't a skill you switch on and off. It's a way of living. Every decision, every conversation, every action becomes an opportunity to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast. Ask yourself, how does this choice serve my long-term goals? What's the bigger picture here? What can I learn and improve from this moment? Make these questions a habit. Over time, your mind will naturally move towards strategy, not reaction. Becoming unshakable in the face of challenge. Life will throw obstacles. Some will surprise you. Some will shake your confidence. But when you live as a master tactician, you become unshakable. You don't panic. You don't freeze. You assess, adapt, and move forward, always with purpose. Challenges become your training ground. Failures become feedback. With your strategic edge, you turn uncertainty into advantage. Final words of encouragement. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every strategic thinker started with curiosity and a willingness to learn. Keep honing your mindset, keep practicing your skills, and most importantly, keep taking action. Because the greatest victory isn't just outsmarting others, it's outsmarting your own limitations. You have the power, you have the tools. Now go live strategically and win every day. Thank you for allowing me to guide you on this journey. Here's to your unstoppable success.